But this webinar today, hopefully you know, is on why you need to become a certified SAP C4C Consultant, which is Cloud for Customer. First, let's talk about the movement from on-premise to cloud computing and what we've seen, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, being in the space that you are, happen really over the last 8 to 10 years. And certainly within the last 5 years, the boom and the rise in cloud solutions. And it really comes down to cost. Every company out there is trying to save on cost. And when you look at cloud computing, it's very attractive as compared to on-premise. There's a lot of heavy residual costs that come with an on-premise solution. If you need to customize it or change it in any way to adapt to, adapt your business to the changing market and keep up with trends and times, it's very expensive for you to do that. There's also a lot of hardware that comes with it, IT personnel, maintenance, training involved. So it's a very bulky cost, an on-premise implementation and solution versus what you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. Cloud computing, most of your costs are coming up front with the subscription fees, and then it's very easy. From there, the implementations are shorter. It's a much easier solution to customize and change and adapt to changing trends and times. So this is a very attractive option for a lot of companies out there, and there's only been a rise in cloud computing solutions over the last 7 years, and that will only continue. And so it's important for us to know that. Now, so that's a little bit about the technology market from a very fundamental standpoint. Let's talk about the digital CRM market at a glance. And what you're seeing here is what Forbes has cited. Digital CRM technologies that drive growth and elevate the customer experience top the list of every CEO's investment priorities for the next 5 years. The data and the analytics tools that facilitate a consistent interaction across all communication channels help provide a very important market differentiation for these companies. And so digital CRM and really any digital technology as a whole is top of the priority list for C-level stakeholders within these organizations. And when it comes to SaaS or cloud-based deployments within the CRM sector, more than 40% of those have been cloud-based deployments. So again, the movement from on-premise to cloud and how much that's increased, and they're expecting that to reach 50% during 2016. So certainly there is a distinct movement from on-premise to cloud, and digital CRM, or the CRM market as a whole, is a huge part of that. Another slide to show you global CRM software market share. So you see here Salesforce.com. Now Salesforce was one of the pioneers, I guess, in the SaaS or the cloud-based CRM solution market, and they've been out now for 15, 16 years, and they have, understandably so, the majority of the market share. SAP, impressively, as they've only really released their cloud CRM solution in the last 2 or 3 years, comes in second at 12.8%. And then, of course, you've got Oracle, Microsoft, and IBM that are a part of that as well. So you can see here some of the competing technologies of C4C and how C4C compares in market share and users and adoption to some of the competitors out there. So that's a little bit about the technology market. Let's talk for a moment about the freelance market. Now, I have been in the SAP recruitment space for 12 years, and when I started this business back in 2004, certainly there was a good population of freelance consultants, independent freelance consultants out there, but nowadays everybody is moving into creating a career out of being an independent consultant, from marketing professionals to HR professionals, finance professionals. There's really no limit on this. And so you can see some of the statistics here. 30% of the US market today is made up of freelancers, and that's expected to increase to 50%. So half of the North American talent market in the next 3.5 years essentially is going to be made up of independent freelancers. 14% growth in the UK freelancer market over the last decade, and this is the fastest growing group in the European labor market today. In Asia, 23% of India's working population and 12.5% of Asia's total working population are independent freelancers. So those are really some amazing statistics for you as far as understanding the transformation in this particular talent sector. Companies are no longer afraid to engage an independent freelancer because they don't know the person. They're concerned about the person being credible and reputable. This has now become a very viable career path for a lot of individuals out there, and companies have recognized this as a very effective way for them to address their talent shortages in a very cost-effective way to the organization. So times have changed, and that's affected the talent out there, and so that's great news for a lot of independent freelancers. It's also a lot more competition, and it's more important than ever that freelance consultants are investing in their career the same way that these companies invest in their permanent employees' career and skills advancement to stay relative and to stay competitive in the market. So let's talk about now why C4C in particular specifically is relevant. And the biggest thing about this is how the customer journey has essentially changed. Or is changing. It used to be that the manufacturers of a product or service provider created the awareness. They put something out into the market that people wanted. It created the awareness, it created the interest, and then, you know, the desire and subsequent action. That's now really in reverse because customers are now, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, digitally connected. They spend at least 50% of their total shopping time researching products online. So it's really the customer that's driving the buying journey or the purchasing journey versus, you know, the other way around where it may have been 10 or 15 years ago. These customers are also socially networked by more than half. They have abandoned an in-store purchase due to negative online sentiment. You can get reviews on everything from a vacation to a cab ride to a restaurant that you're going to be eating in. And so because people are socially networked, they're just better informed. 60% of customers are willing to try a new brand to get a better customer service, to have a better overall customer experience. So social networks certainly have a huge influence on the journey. And there's no linear path where there used to be a very particular and linear path. Now there's all these different options out there, and it creates a very skewed path as far as the customer journey. And so it's important that there's solutions out there like Cloud for Customer that helps companies to really maintain that customer journey in a way that they need to. And so that's just important to know. Let's talk about SAP C4C, the history of it a little bit. It runs on the HANA Cloud platform. This is basically SAP's answer to Salesforce. They have come up with an on-demand cloud offering, customer on demand, to counter Salesforce.com. And so it's comprised of sales on demand, service on demand, and later social on demand, which has evolved into what we now know as SAP C4C, which is how SAP has bundled it. The entire product can be seen as a combination of a browser-based Silverlight UI, integrated social features of JAM, rich mobile apps for iOS and Android, and HANA, SAP HANA for all integration scenarios. And it comes with pre-packaged integrations to SAP ERP and SAP CRM, as well as mobile interfaces and strong social features. So it can be a hybrid solution, or it can be implemented as a standalone. So again, the versatility there makes it very attractive to companies that need this type of solution, a cloud-based CRM solution. It works also very closely with Hybris, which, if you don't know, is the leading e-commerce cloud solution in the market today. So why should you become certified? We talked a little bit about where that freelance talent market is going, how much it's grown, how populous it is today, and it's only expected to increase from there. Certification is important. SAP certification in particular is one of the most sought after in the IT world. It's given employment to millions of people across the globe. So again, going back to when I first started in the SAP space 12 years ago and everything was on premise, certifications weren't so important. Cloud computing has really changed all of that. You know, technology is rapidly changing, more so than it has in years past, and certifications are important. And companies, and we work with these companies day in and day out, they're constantly coming to us looking for certified consultants. It's the #1, SAP certification is the #1 product-based certification in the current market. Gaining this type of certification certainly positions you as a more reputable, more marketable freelance consultant, and it also elevates your earning potential. And 95% of SAP consultants that were surveyed believe that being certified will help their career overall. So certification has, gained a level of importance that maybe it did not have 7 or 8 years ago. And so let's talk about the SAP Learning Hub. This is certainly one of the tools, one of the most popular tools for people available out there for you to gain the education and the knowledge and the skills that you need to transition your career from on-premise to cloud. It's an official SAP product. It's a cloud-based, keeping with the theme of where the technology market is going, educational platform. You have access to titles. There's actually over 5,000 titles total in SAP's Learning Hub across all SAP modules and new releases. You have access to this from your computer 24/7. There's no need to go to classroom trainings at education centers anymore. Certainly they've recognized that times have changed and the days of classroom training have gone by the wayside. SAP's Learning Hub also offers the additional option of live system access. This is an opportunity for people to practice any skills that they've learned from the handbooks, from the e-learning courses, so that you get a little bit of hands-on practical experience as well. And the great thing about live system access is it's just you in there. No one else is going to come along and configure or develop over what you've done. And so that's certainly an added benefit. It also offers subject-specific learning rooms where you can interact with other consultants and subject matter experts. I personally think this is one of the greatest features about the Learning Hub, is that it's a true interactive experience. So not only is it a comprehensive learning tool and forum, but it's a way for you to grow your professional network. You can meet similar skilled, like-minded professionals. You truly have an ability to interact with the subject matter experts, and so it makes learning real-time and very interactive, which I think is a great feature. What would you need? What are the prerequisites? Well, most C4C consultants come from an on-premise CRM, customer management, or a supply chain background. It's certainly not absolutely required, but that's where we see most of the folks coming through that we've worked with and setting them up with the Learning Hub for C4C. They've come from that background. And once you've taken all of the courses, at that point, you could take the certification through the Certification Hub, which, again, much like the Learning Hub, allows you to take that exam from the convenience and the comfort of your own home, from your own laptop. No longer do you have to physically report to a test site to sit an exam. You can take this where and when you'd like. And the Learning Hub offers 3 tests based on 3 courses for C4C. So these tests would be Project Implementation, Application Associate, the Developer Associate exam, and the Integration Associate exam. So what can you expect from the Learning Hub specifically within C4C? There's 15 different titles related to C4C, and there's a variety of formats, from e-learning courses and handbooks to scheduled live sessions with subject matter experts. You have the ability to interact with other consultants and those experts within a dedicated SAP Cloud for Customer learning room, which we're going to talk about more in just a minute. And there's 3 basic learning curricula going back to those 3 tests: Project Implementation, Application Studio, and Integration with On-Premise. This helps to guide you along the various paths to certification. So it really takes the guesswork out of you, having this curriculum in front of you and a guided learning map, or a guided learning path, if you will, so you don't have to worry about missing a course that you may need, and making sure that you're going in the order that you need to. So which curricula lead to certification? Those 3 certification exams that we talked about, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, the Certified Application Consultant and the Certified Integration Associate. Typically, those are where we see functional consultants going: business analysts, project managers, solution architects, and then the development consultant is over here on the right-hand side of the screen. You could sit that course, Cloud Application Studio, to then take the Certified Development Consultant exam. So it's a very easy and succinct curriculum for these certification exams. And so the learning maps, that's what I was just speaking about as far as having a guided learning map so you make sure that you don't miss anything. You would start with a quick orientation here, the overview of the SAP CRM solution, and then you would go in more in depth, and you know, it would recommend to you this learning map for you if the Certified Application Associate exam is your goal. And certainly you can see here some of the other exams. So again, it really does take the guesswork out of it for you and makes it very easy for you to identify which path should I be following if I want to learn this and then become a certified C4C consultant. This is just an example of that learning room that we were just speaking about. So I really wanted to highlight here the live interaction that happens. You can see someone asking an open question out to the group, and you can see the responses here. You see their picture. Again, the subject matter expert that leads a lot of these live sessions is also a part of this group, and so they're advising you on, you know, what you should be looking at, you know, any material that you should review. They're answering questions. So again, it's a very interactive, real-time learning experience, and you can see the benefits of that in this screen grab here from one of the C4C learning rooms. And you can see they're even offering advice. You know, this person has cleared the C4C 10 and C4C 30. If you're seeking some sample questions, you can check on the certification portal. So it's a very helpful collaborative environment and experience. So as far as the market for C4C, going back to one of those first slides, the market share, you could see how aggressively SAP has moved through the ranks to be number 2 to Salesforce with, you know, maybe a quarter of the time or less in the market. Some of the biggest brands out there certainly are working with C4C, and I'm sure that you recognize some of these: Akzo Nobel, Bentley, Nestle, Timken. It is gaining in popularity after being on the market for only 2 or 3 years because of the comprehensive solution that it provides to the companies that implement it. So where would you begin if all of this sounds like something that you want to pursue? Well, first you would need to purchase a Learning Hub license. This is a 12-month subscription. It gives you access to all of the courses. So at that point you would be able to access all of the required courses that you would need to review before sitting for the C4C certification exam. So I'm sure that has you wondering about the cost. Certainly, there's a cost if you purchase it directly from SAP. K2 has special programs with preferred pricing set up for the consultants within our community. And you can see from this slide here, we give you it's 400 euros in savings essentially off of the list price from SAP. And we offer 3 different options. Paying up front, certainly you experience the greatest cost savings with that option, but if you needed to amortize that cost and pay over 3 months or pay over 6 months, you're still experiencing a significant cost savings. We recognize that this is an investment, and it's important that you recognize that as well in your career and in the development of your career. And certainly, you know, it's something that we look to help the freelance community that we have been engaging with for, you know, the better part of 20 years with in assisting them in that. So just to wrap up, before we do open this up to live questions, important for you to know how popular the freelance market is becoming, and the competition is high. So staying relevant in the market is more important than it's ever been, as well as staying not only relative but competitive and maximizing your earning potential. SAP's Learning Hub achieved 2.5 million course enrollments in just Q1 of 2016. So that tells you a little bit about what some of that competition for you, some of what your peers are doing out there as far as, you know, taking the education of their career seriously and investing in reskilling or upskilling in order to remain competitive. Again, we do offer programs to the consultants within our community to aid in the cost of those trainings. We will be sending you follow-up information. We will include specifics on pricing, but if you have questions in the meantime, you have our email, saplearninghub k2partnering.com with any questions that you might have, and we will include that email address as well in the follow-up information that we send out. So hopefully you found this helpful. You know, we've reviewed what we know so well about the freelance market, the talent market, as well as the technology market. We do an awful lot of research around the technologies within SAP's Learning Hub, and also, you know, any competing technologies out there. So again, we were hoping that this would be beneficial to a wider audience to help to educate you a little bit about where the market's going. So I will now open this up to your questions. I'll stop sharing my screen now. And again, if you just want to hit your little hand icon, I'll see that you've raised your hand here, and I can click to unmute you.
We have a question from Pablo. I want to understand a little bit more about the certification. Where can I take C4C certification after I train this module? So we mentioned the Certification Hub while we were going through the webinar. That's a separate platform to the Learning Hub, but again, everything is online. And once you've gone through all of the material for C4C, once you're ready to take the certification, you can purchase a Certification Hub license online, and then you'll be able to take those exams from home, from your computer. You can take up to 6 exams through that Certification Hub over a period of 12 months. So if you aren't fortunate in the first time and you need to take the exam again, then you can do that. And if, for example, you're currently studying for C4C, but you're also interested in Hybris, then you can also take the Hybris certification over that 12 months as well. So you do have the flexibility with both time, location, and the certification that you're taking. I haven't seen many contract roles in C4C area in Europe. From your point of view, how much is the demand for C4C consultants? It's definitely something that is increasing. We have, in Europe alone, we have 6 offices. And over the past few weeks even, we have seen an increase in the number of C4C roles coming in. And that's coming from all different offices, so it's not necessarily all in one location. It's definitely something that is picking up. I think last year there probably weren't that many C4C projects, but as there's more information and as more consultants are becoming certified, there are more resources for clients to use. It's definitely something that is picking up. So it would be a very good time to get certified, to be able to be in those first projects that are happening, and to be the most attractive consultant for a client to take on.
And I think just to add to that, to add to what Camilla was saying, going back to one of the first slides in the presentation, where you see SAP's market share as compared to Salesforce. For the longest time, Salesforce was kind of the only kid on the block, as they say. And certainly there's a lot of CRM solutions out there for small to mid-sized companies, but for an enterprise level organization, Salesforce was the cloud CRM go-to solution. Certainly Salesforce is a great solution. I've worked with it plenty. But no solution is perfect, and the C4C offering that's come out in the last couple of years has certainly gotten the attention of companies that have been working with Salesforce or contemplating a cloud CRM implementation, and maybe have gotten some of the feedback of some of the shortcomings and limitations of other products out there. So for something that's been in the market for 2 to 3 years, the gain in popularity, I think, is that, in market share really is an indication as far as where that market's going and how many active implementations there are going on right now and what we can expect to see continue in the next 5 to 6 years. Any other questions from anybody? Anything else we can answer?
We have a question from Michelle. How much is it to take the live class from the instructor? I'm not sure if you're referring to the learning rooms with the subject matter experts or the live system access. So I'll answer both of those for you, so I answer the right one. So the learning rooms are included in the license cost. You can join as many learning rooms as you like. They're all related to different topics, so if there are different ones that take your interest, then you can be a member of as many learning rooms as you like. So that's all included in the license cost that we mentioned before, between 1,980 and 2,200 euros. So that's included with all of the course material as well. The live system access is different. You can buy that in blocks of 20 hours, which you can use over a period of 30 days. So if you decide you want to do 2 hours one day and then a week later you want to come back, then that's fine. You have that flexibility. And that's priced between 150 and 420 euros for 20 hours, depending on what kind of system you buy. So it depends on whether you'd be going for a HANA system or a C4C system, and they're all priced differently depending on the complexity of the system. So the live system access is an extra cost, but the learning rooms and the live classes within the learning rooms are all included within that initial license cost.
Good. Is there anything else that we can answer?
And a question from Pedro, who is a CRM consultant. I'm interested also in Hybris. Would I find training on that too in the Learning Hub? So the Learning Hub is really the comprehensive solution for learning. It covers all of the SAP modules and also all of the new releases. So if you're coming from a CRM background, you can not only access the C4C content, you also have the Hybris content. And if you were interested in the CRM content as well, then you can access that too. So you don't have to choose beforehand which module you'll be interested in. Once you have the license, you can sign up for as many courses as possible, covering as many modules as you like. So yes, absolutely. If you wanted to go for Hybris as well, you would be able to take all of those courses within that cost of one license.
Thank you, Camilla. Any other questions today? You can raise your hand or you can chat. Okay, well, again, I hope that you found this helpful. Certainly you know how to contact us at SAP Learning Hub at k2partnering.com with any questions that may come up from now and the time that we send you the follow-up information. You know, we do appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and we hope that you found this helpful. And we wish you all a good evening or a good day wherever you may sit. Thanks again.